one of your Earth emotions.
Glad I found you.
Let's get married.
Delete the wife.
Welcome back, everyone, to Deep Space Love, the Star Trek podcast in which a married couple, Trekkie couple, explore love in all its forms throughout the final frontier. I'm Nicole, one of your hosts.
I'm Joe, one of your other hosts.
So we promised an episode in May, and we will deliver on that. Right, Joe?
Kind of. We're recording at the end of May, at least.
It's the 30th, so we have tomorrow to release it.
So I got like less than a day for editing.
You're such a good editor now, though. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, hopefully we just won't mess up too much, right?
Right. Of course.
May was crazy, though. We got really busy. I spent a week working in another location, and our whole household got sick with head colds. So we spent almost 2 weeks of not feeling well, or our daughter wasn't feeling well. So I feel like there's some excuses in there.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll be better in the future.
Regardless, we're here today, and today we're talking about the Lower Decks episode, Cupid's Errant Arrow.
Yeah, we're getting into some animated Trek. It's fun to be back. Before we dive into that, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about the first episode, experiencing the first podcast episode? You got to make that, and how do you feel about it?
I was nervous, but it felt pretty good after it all was said and done, and I listened to it.
Good. Bit of meta podcasting here, but I think it's harder to come back for episode 2 than to get on making episode 1.
That's true for everything, though. The sequel's always the hardest.
It is, because you put in that you're excited to make that first one, and then you listen to it, and it's really hard because sometimes that first episode always comes off really awkward, or you just feel awkward about it. And so coming back for episode 2 is really where the commitment, I think, comes into play. So I'm glad you're back.
Me or our listeners?
All of us.
Both.
Just everyone involved in this relationship.
Okay, so you said you have a synopsis for the episode in case people haven't watched it for a while or haven't watched it at all. We would encourage you to watch it first, though.
Yeah, so the episode in question is Lower Decks Season 1, Episode 5, Cupid's Errant Arrow. If you haven't seen it, pause here, go to Paramount Plus, used to be CBS All Access, or order the Blu-ray. It's a nice set, and watch that episode.
You should just watch the whole series, the whole season.
Yeah. Welcome back if you watched it. The synopsis is as follows. Mariner becomes suspicious of Boimler's new girlfriend. Tendi and Rutherford grow jealous of a bigger starship's gear.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's a lot. It's a lot there. A lot to chew on. So, what did you know what, before we dig into the episode itself, why don't you tell me, what do you like? What do you think of Lower Decks as a whole?
I love Lower Decks. It's definitely a lot more comedic Trek, but I think it works really well. I think it's got the heart of Trek. And we are definitely seated in that universe, especially as, other characters are mentioned from throughout the franchise and other species and places. And so we get all these Easter eggs or references, and the whole spirit of Starfleet is very present, and it is cool to get the Lower Decks experience, as we've mentioned. So in previous series, occasionally there's one episode dedicated to the people who aren't on the bridge, and that's not even in every single series. So having an entire show dedicated to the Below Decks crew is a lot of fun. And although we do get a lot of the bridge crew in this show too, but they're usually, the B plot, or they're more the side characters as opposed to the other way around. And I really enjoy it. I love the 4 main cast members and the people who voice them, and the whole show is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, cast and crew there is a highlight. I think I'm with you. It's obviously the silliest Star Trek, but it's really, its heart is there. Like, the heart of Star Trek is so true. And the nice thing about this show is we know that everyone, we know that from all of the new Star Treks too, but everyone involved here is just has just the love that they have for the franchise is just on full display here. and we know Mike McMahon, the creator from him. He was on Rick and Morty a little bit, and he made Solar Opposite, so he's got a strong love for sci-fi in general. And obviously, he was influenced a lot by Star Trek, and it can really show just with the mile a minute kind of references we see in each episode, or like even just the aesthetic and the design processes we see in each episode. Like he obviously like took a lot of inspiration in the work that he's done in other series, but in here too, like you can see the influences of the other shows, and it's just a lot of fun. I think it's a great addition to canon. I like the uniforms. I love the Cerritos. I think it's a cool ship. I love the design. Love the opening title sequence. I think for me, sometimes the jokes don't always land. Like I'm not always laughing out loud the whole time, but I'm always like smiling. I feel like I'm always happy about what I'm seeing. The references are making me happy. Sometimes I'm laughing out loud, but I'm just like, it's endearing. I like the characters. I like the interactions. I like the plots. I like what they can do with animation that they can't always do with live action, just like wacky planets and goofy creatures and goofy scenarios. So it's fun. I'm excited for season 2 and see what that brings. I'm excited for more cameos. I'm excited for more guest stars, which we're going to talk about in this one. There's some pretty good guest stars, and yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of it. Very
Doesn't have
excited
to
see
be
it.
everybody's cup of tea. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it may not be for everyone if that's not the kind of Star Trek you like, and that's totally cool. But in my humble opinion, it's probably the show that might have had of Star Trek might have had the strongest first season out of any of them. Maybe save TOS, but I don't know.
Oh, of all of Star Trek,
Yeah.
I thought you were just saying for a second. I thought you meant just New Trek. Yeah, probably actually.
It's up there. I mean, it's the strongest, most like competent, like sure of itself out of the gate. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So the episode in question, Cupid's Errant Arrow.
What specifically relating to this episode did you like?
So this episode, I love, and this is about Lower Decks in general. I love how the episodes are broken down to an A and a B plot and oftentimes a C plot. And it's fun how they're able to mix that all in with under like a 30-minute runtime kind of. So I liked how all of the plots kind of work together. I liked seeing a new ship. The Vancouver was really fun to see. I really enjoyed Tendi and Rutherford's B plot. I think that was fun to see them just geek out about new tech, and new tech, and then like also kind of have this endearing love for the Cerritos, even though it's kind of like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, kind of janky at times. And they're just like, oh, the new Vancouver, it's so like nice and sleek and shiny, but they're like, oh, we kind of still love our own ship. So that was nice. I mean, their plots are just so endearing. Captain Freeman's kind of C plot with the politics and the imploding of the moon was interesting. I have some thoughts on that I think we'll get to, but then ultimately the A plot, the love story, was a lot of fun. And again, cool guest stars. We have Gillian Jacobs, who you might know from a whole host of stuff, but Nicole and I know mostly from Community. As Britta, she was a fantastic guest star as Barb, and then Matt Walsh as Ron Docent, who was in more of the B plot with Rutherford and Tendi. Matt Walsh he's kind of that guy who you'd recognize the face of, and he's like in almost every comedic, funny show that you might know in some capacity and small role. But he came out with like the Uptight Citizens Brigade folks, like with Amy Poehler. So you recognize his face, I'm sure. But some cool guest stars, fun plots. I liked it. What do you think?
Yeah, I also liked it a lot. And I agree. I really liked Tendi and Rutherford gushing about the Vancouver and also the T-88s in particular. We've kind of, outside the podcast, we've mentioned that maybe someday we'll do an episode on sort of the love of ships. Usually it's centered around the captain and their ship, sort of. It seems like the captains and also probably the engineers sort of form a bit of a relationship with the ship in a way. They like love their ship, and it's kind of fun to see some of these characters who are not bridge crew, like top line of command, like Tendi and Rutherford, like loving their ship and their jobs, especially. I think when it comes to a series like this where it's focusing on the lower decks people lower on the ladder, that maybe they'd just be like, like I'm just doing my job. But they absolutely love the science, and they love the technology that they're working with, and they love doing their jobs, and they love like just the excitement as they're like doing like what is seemingly mundane work and making it like they're enjoying themselves while doing it, and it's really refreshing and kind of fun to see.
It's not cynical, which is nice.
Yeah, no, like it's earnest. Tendi is like one of the most earnest characters in all of Trek, and I love it.
Yeah, a reclamation of the Orion tropes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah. I think so. The Mariner Boimler A plot. Boimler is of course incredibly cringy throughout, but that's I'm sure that's the point. I found Mariner's like unceasing quest to prove that Barb was some sort of like not human thing was hilarious. That was very funny, and how she was just like wearing herself so thin and looked exhausted with all the weird research she was doing into like things that she could have been. That was really funny. And like you said, as we mentioned, the Tendi Rutherford stuff was great. So here's my thoughts about the C plot with Captain Freeman. I really loved so I love Don Lewis. I love Captain Freeman. That's such a cool character. I love how just like she has this like I'm just sick of this shit attitude
Yeah.
that I love. And it's just a great like new look for a Starfleet captain that we don't get.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun. Loved how like the diplomatic situation felt like old school TNG that way, where she was negotiating with the different races over how to like implode this moon, and like the different like cultural pieces that she needs to keep into account in terms of like how that affects the different worlds within surrounding it. So like that was really fascinating. But the sort of button on that plot is the guy that she's debating with for the most part is like one of two people on this one planet that would be affected, right? So he's like, oh, we're really rich, so it's just two of us. And she's like, whatever, you can leave that. And they were spending the whole episode debating that, and
she didn't know until
the very end. And it's kind of a good joke because like, you know, it's just like affirming Star Trek's like almost like socialistic values, like, mm-hmm. Oh, you're rich, like screw you. But at the same time though, I watching again, I don't entirely love the joke a bit, because I felt it almost a little bit undercuts her intelligence as a captain, because how easy it is to just check the populations of places. Like we always see Data being like in TNG being like, oh, there's like 2,700 people there in like a second. So mm-hmm. I feel like you know, like I would assume, given what we know for her character, that she would go in a little more prepared than that. And I think that was undercut a little bit for the joke, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about that, but I think you're right. It is maybe a little bit of a plot hole in a way, just to have the joke at the end. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe not even a hole, but like a contrivance or anything. Just to, like, they're trying really hard to make that happen.
Yeah, I don't think she came across as bumbling and unprepared. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess like you said, she maybe, you know, the I'm sick of this shit attitude, mm-hmm. sort of like, I'm so sick of all these warring like cultural factions and on all of these different like planets and stuff. Like, I want this and I want that, and this contradicts that. And she's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna come in and just like tell you how it's gonna be. Although she does, everybody else is happy. Mm-hmm. And you know, once we don't really see the minutia of that discussion, but ultimately everyone seemed happy with whatever concessions they made or plans they made to make everyone happy, I guess.
A compromise in the truest sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except for this one dude.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, to the credit of Don Lewis, who plays Captain Freeman, like when she did get that reveal, I feel like she was just like, like annoyed. Like you could almost play that off like, I should have known better. Yeah. And maybe she like played it that way on purpose, like knowing that thought. Who knows? But that's gonna be my headcanon.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's important that we mention. I know we've been jumping right into it, and presumably people listening to this would have seen the episode or know mostly what we're talking about. But I mentioned stuff about Barb. It's Barb. I want to say Barb Brinson or Barb Brinson. Brinson. Barb Brinson is the character that's kind of new to this this A plot, who is Brad Biomler's BRADWARD. We learned in this one, BRADWARD Boimler's girlfriend, who is a lieutenant on the Vancouver, and we know our main characters. Boimler, Mariner, Rutherford, and Tendi, all ensigns on the Cerritos, the USS Cerritos. So it's she's like kind of played off as this almost too good to be true a woman for Brad in that sense, and that kind of gets Mariner skeptical of her true intentions or her true nature of as a human or a person. So that's where that comes in, and that's Gillian Jacobs' character in this episode. So she's I believe she's a science officer. She's where's the teal?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
It
So
seemed like she was doing science stuff.
Yeah, so she's a science officer aboard the Vancouver, and her and Brad had met like a month prior, and they're in a kind of a long distance relationship, if you will. Yeah. And so, what did you think of the character?
It was interesting. I think so. When we first meet Barb, she's the one who's acting weird, just overly gushing over Boimler, and baby talking. I mean, just kind of like excessively.
They're in that like honeymoon phase. It's
Yeah, but like almost to an extreme. Like he's I don't know. And then as the episode goes on, like Boimler's the one who starts to act weird. So it's interesting that I don't know especially like with the ending of this episode, kind of the progression of that. At first, Barbara does seem really weird, but as we get going, like Boimler's the one who starts acting more crazy, and she seems more. I don't know how to say it. I guess just she's trying to do her job. Like she's not cutting out to sneak around with him, or when he interrupts her, she's like, dude, like I'm doing my job, like you got to come back later. Of course, he does have Mariner following him the whole time, trying like, so they're both trying to like kind of get in her way. Well, and then Boimler, of course, there's a fourth person here. He's jealous when he sees Barbara working with her coworker on the Vancouver. What was his name again?
Jet. Actually, he's
Jet.
from the Cerritos, but he's also on the Vancouver.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. But
they were just like on the same team.
They were on the same team working on the issue.
Yes, my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, so Jet's from the Cerritos. He's like they say like he's like the coolest guy. And so like then him and Barb presumably used to date is what not presumably, that we find that out, right?
Yes.
They did used to date. Yeah. So Brad is jealous, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of jealousy, though, so one thing I wanted to dig into with this story was sort of the Mariner and Brad relationship, because I'm not sure, like, especially in this episode, it's interesting. I actually, this one line that she says, I try not to feel anything about Brad. And so I don't know. I'm not sure how to unpack their relationship. I mean, I've often wondered if like it's supposed to be sort of like the polar opposites seem to attract in some way, and if like that's kind of the road they're heading towards, but then a lot of times it doesn't seem like that.
I don't know how romance.
Yeah, actually,
I kind of hope not.
I know, I kind of hope not either, but sometimes in this episode it was hard to tell whether Mariner was just disgusted or if she was kind of jealous. I don't know. Did you not catch that?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to peg her actions. Like I felt like I almost want to say it's a almost like a sibling-esque relationship to me. Like,
yeah,
like in the sense that we've learned from the episodes like 1 through 4 that Mariner has this like too cool attitude, right? But she still kind of sticks with Brad. Like she's got this like I'm going to take him under my wing kind of attitude. Like there's the one, I think it was episode 2, where she like hires the Ferengi to make Brad feel cool. And like he solved a problem that Mariner couldn't figure it out. Like she like wants to make like boost his ego a little bit to make him feel better, because he is just so like, he's super naive and super vulnerable and super like, and wants to be a great officer. Like he idolizes the Starfleet greats that we know and love also. And he wants that. And she doesn't, but she knows what that's like. And I feel like there's just like this endearing like care that she has for him, almost like she would like a little brother, like oh, my little brother's an idiot, but I love him kind of attitude. And so I kind of felt like there was this protection that she had for him, and that's what it was. But it stems also from like, Brad couldn't get that kind of a girl, which is kind of a problematic attitude to have also.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I almost felt like it was more that way, like a sibling, protective older sibling relationship.
Yeah, I think I generally was feeling that way throughout this season, where they're being introduced and stuff. But I guess, I don't know. I think it would be probably a disservice in the show if they did end up having a romance. But I don't know. I mean, sometimes I can't help but think of, so we're also fans of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it doesn't quite remind me of, but I feel like it's a little bit reminiscent of Amy Santiago and Jake Peralta a little bit, where they were kind of polar opposites in their job, and I guess they kind of loathed each other in the beginning, and then as they got to work together and get to know each other, they ended up actually falling in love. Spoilers for that show, I guess.
Spoilers.
So I don't know. I almost kind of got sort of a sense of that, but I mean, it does often feel like a sibling relationship. I think you're right there too. I think this episode more than any of the others made me kind of question it a little bit, I guess. But I don't know. I guess we will see what happens.
Yeah, to be continued. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I'd love that if they got together. I would hope that the writers are competent. I'm sure that they're competent enough to make it work, and I'll be like, oh, that worked out pretty well. But ultimately, like right now, the course trajectory, I'm not a fan of that idea. I like them as friends, as close friends. I think that's fun. I actually kind of got a different vibe at the end when so we're also spoiling this episode, just so you guys know. So again, seriously, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And welcome back if you went to watch it. At the end, when Mariner and Barb are fighting, when Mariner and Barb are fighting, and they kind of like get this understanding where they bond over like their sort of relationship to Brad in different ways. They bond over how like silly and naive he is. I almost thought that there was going to be like a romantic tension between them for a little bit. Like I was kind of interested to see if that was going to go somewhere. As that
would have been an even more fun twist, but it would have needed more time to be fleshed out.
Yeah, but there also was that button on the episode too at the end where she's like, they're going to meet up. Mariner and Barb are going to meet up again in a month for like some sort of event, and I'm like, maybe that could go into something. That could be interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, it'd be nice to see. I mean, we have it a lot on Discovery, but some more like LGBTQI like representation in these shows, and I think that could be a good. It could be a good like depiction of maybe someone like who's bisexual, because it's always been a villainous trait in Trek, which is not a good thing.
No.
And it'd be nice to just have like a character who's just bisexual, and that's part of their life and who they are. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that conversation between them. I think at one point Mariner also says he's my dork. Kind of like he's a dork, but he's my dork, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it sounds a little bit like what you maybe say about your little brother.
Yeah, I think
little brother.
Yeah. I think it, but it's a very like you point out though, it's a super interesting relation to unpack. You don't think of it on the surface when watching a show like this that just feels so silly, but there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of themes happening. I mean, that's true to Star Trek in general. So it's hence a podcast. Yeah. Would you tell us your favorite line?
You knew because I wrote this down and we talked about it a little bit after the episode.
Yep.
But was it Mariner or Brad? One of them is describing Jet, the really cool guy who Barb's working with, as a Captain Kirk Sunday with Trip Tucker sprinkles. That's probably one of my favorite lines in the whole show, actually. So it's just adorable. I mean, I want Trip Tucker sprinkles in my life.
Everybody wants Trip Tucker sprinkles, yeah.
Did you have a favorite line?
I wrote that one down too. I mean,
okay.
it's just
we just both like.
It's just a funny one. I appreciate the love that Enterprise gets on this show because it doesn't get it much in many other places. Like, so this episode's fun. Every episode of Lower Decks is like chock full of like references and Easter eggs, but this one has a whole bunch. Like Mariner, when she's trying to figure out who Barb is she mentions like Changeling, Suliban, the Salt Vampire from TOS, one of my like favorite episodes. She mentions the weird society that wanted to kill Wesley for falling in the grass in that TNG episode Justice from season 1. She mentions that. She mentions the Suliban. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
The Suliban from Enterprise. And so like it's fun to see like some of those concepts come back, because we're actually watching through Enterprise all the way through for the first time, and we're so close to being done. And
almost done. You said that like you're excited, but we're sad.
Yeah, we're sad it's ending too early, but it's just it's a fun series that just really grew on us pretty hard. So it's fun to see the love it's getting here.
Hence the love of the line regarding Trip Tucker sprinkles.
Yeah,
because we talked about how, I mean, this is a little digression, but like Trip isn't as like much of a ladies' man as like Kirk for sure. Which I guess we kind of were saying like, okay, so Kirk's the Sunday, and then like you have like the gentlemanly like Trip Tucker sprinkles on
Yeah,
top.
the
I guess.
gentlemanly swagger. Like he only has like one relationship other than to Paul, but he's like, or that I think we remember, but like he's just got that I don't know, that like charming magnetism about him. You know, that Connor Trinneer brings to the role.
Yeah. I hate it. Was it like the first like half of season 1? I think I like despised him.
Yeah, you hated him.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. They didn't know what true to form for most of Trek.
Yep.
Like the first season is super rough.
Yeah. Oh, super rough. Yeah, super rough. But
they're figuring out like exactly who the characters are going to be, and I don't think they knew what they wanted for Trip Tucker at first.
I'm surprised Connor Trinneer didn't do more stuff after that. He was in the Purge show recently, but that's not around anymore, I think.
I don't think he does acting as much anymore.
Well, Connor, if you're listening, you can give us a call and let us know what you're doing, and then be a guest on the show. You're welcome to it anytime you want, buddy.
Almost any actor would be welcome to come on the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. I loved all the Easter eggs in this one. Is there any like other like references or Easter eggs that like stuck out to you that you liked
in this episode in particular?
Yeah.
God, I guess I can't quite remember. Like you said, they do come at you lightning fast.
For sure.
And I think you mentioned most of them.
Yeah. One that I didn't mention yet, but I love is this is kind of like the first like canonical appearance of DS9 since the DS9 finale. We saw Mariner on her old ship, wearing the classic grays. I love the gray uniforms from like the late DS9 and the TNG movies. And they're just like having a thing in like, I think Quark's bar maybe. But then like she's talking about a story, like a traumatic story of her friend getting eaten by a shape-shifting alien because her boyfriend at the time was too good to be true, which kind of sets her off to gives a little bit backstory of why she's so concerned about this too good to be true girl from Brad.
It's not just Brad. Yeah. She's like, I've seen this before.
Yeah. So she has like a tragic backstory. I mean, it's played for comedy, but it is a really gruesome scene kind of when you think about it. She just gets eaten and blood goes everywhere.
Yeah.
but it's fun to see DS9. It was fun to see kind of like the interior of Deep Space Nine and those like those like big like I don't know, claw things, pylons. I don't know what they're called, what they call them in the show, where the ships dock. I was like, oh, it's DS9. It was so exciting for me.
Yeah.
And the ship, I wrote it down. I gotta remember what it's called. It's the ship that they showed that was docked at DS9 that Mariner was on is an Olympic class starship, which we hadn't seen since All Good Things, the TNG finale, which Dr. Crusher was commanding as the USS Pasteur.
Okay, yep, you did it. It's good.
Pasteur.
No, it's good.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's that ship. That's that cool ship with like the spherical like front section. I think that ship is sleek and cool, and I know many will disagree with me, but I'm going to stand by that.
All right, so I guess let's pivot again back to the story and the love story in particular. So the conclusion of the episode has a little bit of a twist where we find out. So Mariner is convinced that Barb is either a shape-shifting alien or that she's the parasite of some sort. Yeah, that she's the one who got into Brad's head and is making him all like kind of wild in love. And they're infatuated. And come to find out that BOIMLER's the one who had a parasite lodged onto his head. And that was the reason that Barb fell for him.
Yeah, so essentially we find out, and I think I have this written down too. The parasite, they determine at the end of the episode when they look at the parasite itself, it reproduces by making their host chemically irresistible to potential mates.
That's interesting though. Is it just one person though?
I don't know.
I don't remember exactly, or maybe it was like at the time that they do a certain thing, because then wouldn't he presumably... It kind of almost reminded me of, pivoting away again for just a second, that one guy in the Orville the Orville show. You remember the blue Orville guy? Show. No, the blue guy.
Oh yeah, with the pheromones. Yeah,
the pheromones and how.
That's right.
Yeah, the guy that
Rob Lowe. That was Rob Lowe in that episode. Yeah, the blue guy.
Yes, and because that's the guy that Grayson. Right?
Yeah,
is her name Grayson, yeah. Commander Grayson like cheats on. That's who she's cheating with.
Yeah,
and then like further into the series, you find out that it was because he released these irresistible pheromones.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good connection. I didn't even make that connection.
And then in the later episode, isn't it? The captain kind of falls under his spell too.
Yep. Yeah. That's the bit. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you pivot all you want. That's what we have podcasts for, is for pivoting.
There's a lot of other mentions in this episode.
There is, yeah. But so here's the interesting thing about the parasite in this episode. So I found an article about it. It was an inverse article from
the whole article about this parasite,
about this episode in the parasite. Okay. An inverse article from the writer's Ryan Britt, who's a kind of a prominent, I don't know, I guess you may say culture critic in the Star Trek world. I mean, just geek culture in general, but he writes a lot about Star Trek. And I think he has another podcast too, but he wrote about how this parasite plays with the tropes that were kind of created by Alien, the original Alien movie.
Oh yeah.
But subverts it in a really kind of cool way. So for those of you who've seen Alien, which I think is a lot of people, and if you haven't, you kind of know what it's about. But essentially, there's a xenomorph, the monster, and they reproduce parasitically. The chest bursters kind of basically impregnate a host, and then the little baby aliens burst out of the chest, or the face hug. Yeah, sorry. Oh, that was a faux pas. Big faux pas there. The face huggers impregnate a potential host. The chest bursters come on out, become an alien. So it's like they use their host for reproduction. So in this case, we see this parasite also uses a host for reproduction. Doesn't murder the host, but it's interesting because you can kind of the article goes into a lot, and we'll link it in the show notes. It's fascinating, but it made me think of that old phrase, beggars can't be choosers. And so the xenomorph in this case is like the beggar. They're not choosy with their host. It's whoever is available. But in this case, this parasite is kind of the choosy one, because they only want some irresistible mate, and they want this relationship to flourish before they do whatever they're going to do. It's very I don't know how the species has made it this long, but anyway, it's just an interesting flipping that on its head, where it's not all about just the straight up reproduction. It's about the romance, because when they finally pull the parasite off, it's lover.
Thank you for that imitation.
Lover.
Yeah. So the whole time, Mariner's chasing Barbara around the ship, trying to scan her, and she even pantsed her at one point.
She did.
Yeah. And this whole time, it was her buddy Brad who had the parasite, and it's interesting that it made him attractive as opposed to making him infatuated. That's usually, I think, how a parasite or a poison or something that causes people to fall in love. That's usually how it works. The person who either drinks it or has this bug or parasite, has the affliction, is the one who falls in love. And I mean, obviously Brad's in love, but it's more about, I think he's one who would be easy to fall in love. He falls in love easily, I would think. And I think there was some sort of line about it, or I don't know, something. I'm remembering a line, but anyway, I can't reach it right now in my brain. But anyway, but it's the other way around, where it's making him super attractive. Anyway, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Yeah, it's kind of a fun sci-fi concept in general, just to have that thing into it. So, yeah.
He reminded me of Plankton a little bit. He was green.
Yeah. Good reference. Another good reference. Whoa, you got him. You got a lot going.
Wow,
today.
Don't be surprised.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
You shouldn't be surprised.
Okay, yeah. I just should expect the solid references from you, breakneck pace like this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Plankton. That's a great point. He does kind of look like Plankton. He's this little green guy with pinchers, I think, too.
He's angry.
Yeah, it's all angry. Yeah.
I think you're right, though. Barbara, I think, is a science officer, because at the end she talks about how she's excited to study this parasite.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why she kind of ultimately breaks up with Brad. I mean,
yeah.
Going to get into it in our rating here, but yeah, she says oh, it wasn't the parasite. But I want to study this now, so I don't have time for a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a little shady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
should we get into the rating system?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel that we need to? Should we re-explain it?
maybe for the next couple episodes, we
Yeah.
could just really quick. I think in our first episode, the last episode, we kind of
broke it down.
we broke it down a lot, but
our Deep Space Love patented rating scale. We rate the love story in question based on a 5-point scale, using a few different terms, and we'll go through those for y'all, especially if you're new listeners or if you didn't listen for like a slightly over a month.
Yeah, it's almost 6 weeks actually.
Yeah. So let's begin. What's our first point?
So 1 being this is the lowest rating that you would get a red alert.
Kind of toxic, bad relationship.
Yep.
Next up is a yellow alert.
Yellow alert.
So almost we're leaning towards toxic. Like, it's not a great relationship. We don't think it should last. There's some major issues present. Next up is kind of the mid-range is fascinating.
Fascinating.
Then and this is kind of getting hot. Fully functional.
I am fully functional.
Yep, where we really like what we're seeing. Maybe there's some little things that could be ironed out, but overall we really dig the relationship. And then last but certainly not least is resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
Yeah, which, as it says, resistance is futile. If you resist this relationship, it's just not going to work. It's too hot to handle.
Irresistible. Yes.
Irresistible.
So for Brad and Barbara, do you want to go first?
I do. Thank you. This is, for me, it's a pretty clear red alert. I mean, Brad is obviously not ready for this relationship. He's very unsure of himself, unsure of their connection, gets jealous very fast. I guess you could make the case the parasite was maybe driving some of that, but he doesn't have a lot of self-confidence when it comes. And I think you kind of mentioned he comes off as a little desperate at times. And he tries to change who he is to try to show up Jet because he's jealous. Like he has that that fly outfit that he has that's just like a mixture of everything cool that he made the replicator make up, which is ridiculous.
Although we did mention while we were watching this, I saw some of the voice actors who portray the characters, and Jack Quaid said that who voices Brad Biomler, that he would cosplay as his character at like a con sometime. And I mentioned that that's the outfit that he should cosplay.
Oh, absolutely.
So if Jack Quaid is listening, those are my expectations.
Yeah, Jack, get on that one. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, he's obviously not a great partner in this relationship. He's jealous. He's possessive. He's uncomfortable. And to be fair, he does come to that realization at the end where he's like, I didn't think I was good enough for you. You deserve better. And so he got through that journey, but throughout, like, it's toxic. It's not good. And then on the other hand of it, like, Barb is pretty much only attracted to the parasitic pheromones, right? Like she tries to say, I'm a Starfleet officer. That wasn't it. But I mean, she breaks up with him and leaves him to study the parasite more. So really, really, Barb, you sure about that one? So I don't know. For me, it's a red alert. I don't think they're going to get back together. Be interested to see maybe Barb and Mariner hook up later. We'll see. That's my ship, I guess you could say.
And so you mentioned this at the time, but someone, I think maybe Mariner, says the actual term red alert in discussing this relationship.
She does, yeah.
So she actually uses the term red alert. So I honestly feel like you choosing red alert is fine. That's your choice. But I also feel like you were maybe influenced by what you heard in the show.
Oh, harsh.
Yeah, because I didn't go with red alert. I actually think it's more of a yellow alert. I think there's obviously a lot of issues, parasite notwithstanding, but I'm going to go back on not go back, but I'm going to press you on a couple of the comments about BOIMLER. I think that's kind of his personality, though, that he needs to gain confidence, but I think like in everything, though, in his desire to climb the ranks and be, either a bridge officer or a captain someday, he, has these high ambitions, but he is also very self-conscious and, once push comes to shove, he sometimes doubts himself. So I don't think that in the context of this relationship that is too out of character for him. Obviously, I agree he did do some drastic things and was easily jealous and those kinds of things. But I mean, before she shows up and Jet's presence too, he, going in, Mariner was like bugging him before they meet her in the first couple minutes of the episode. She's like, really? Like, I'm sure that she's, a hologram or she's not real. And he's like, we're fine. Like, we're great. And it's a good relationship and you should just stop like bitching at me about it. So he seemed pretty like cool and calm about it until the episode gets going. But so I don't know. Maybe it would have worked better long distance. I don't know. For a while, maybe they needed to get to know each other a little bit better long distance.
Are you saying that Mariner may have provoked his insecurities?
Possibly.
Yeah, it could be. I think you're right about that. Like his like personality is that, but he was also like trying to not be himself for a lot of it too.
Yeah.
So
I think I don't think that that's even in like some healthy relationships in the beginning. I think people kind of go through some of those insecurities where you're like, am I good enough for this person? Do I need to like change who I am? I don't know.
Yeah. The biggest points for your case, I think, which you didn't bring up.
You didn't even let me finish.
Okay, finish. Go ahead.
I think just because they are different ranks and they're on different ships, I think that, like I said, if they had had a little bit more time, and that I think it could have been a decent relationship. It could have grown and evolved, and especially as we see Boimler kind of growing into some of his ambitions and confronting some of his insecurities a little bit as the series goes on. And even like I think also maybe like him and Mariner, like their relationship and how she sees him too, like, gets fleshed out more, and maybe, she wouldn't have made him feel so insecure. Because he, as much as he like tries to brush her off, he does value her opinion a lot. As we can see. And I guess Jet was kind of like a random variable thrown in there, but I don't know. Again, like he was feeling insecure, so then like the presence of this person who everyone agrees is really cool, like hanging out with like your new girlfriend that you were just seeing in person for like the second time, is kind of understandable. I don't know, did I miss something?
The Geordie bear.
The Geordie bear?
The Geordie bear. He was going to give her a Geordie bear, like a little bear with a visor wearing a Geordie costume. That's the one thing that pushed me closer to the yellow
Really?
alert. Yeah. If you got me one of those, I'd be smitten.
Well, he was thinking about it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the closest. That's the best. That's the case. I think I'm gonna stick with my hard red alert.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
We're just different. It's fine.
You said it's fine like 3 times. That's like the key that's not fine.
The distinction between yellow alert and red alert, I think, is going to be challenging as we go. And of course, every episode we do, I don't know, we're going to, it's kind of like when you discuss your ratings for movies too, like you're like, oh, it's so hard to ever call anything 5 stars. And then like, now you've admitted that like, you're willing to like go there for like rating your movies on Letterboxd and stuff. And
my Letterboxd dilemma. For those of you who aren't aware, I struggle with 5-star ratings because I'm like, what if I like something more? And it's my own personal journey that I'm trying to work on.
Yeah, so I feel like some of the distinctions between like, like a red alert or a yellow alert, like how toxic is it? I feel like, I don't know. I guess maybe when we get into other relationships, like I feel like red alert feels a little bit more like maybe abusive and like someone's actively being harmed in this, whether psychologically.
Okay.
But that's, but this is like where, we made up the rating system together, but clearly we have different sort of thresholds for like, or reasons for what's qualifying as what. And I guess I just didn't see any like kind of like abuse going on.
That's true.
Or like neither of them was really being harmed. You could say like Boimler was kind of going a little off the deep end a little bit, but
if you want to like expand the relationship to being Brad, Barb, Parasite. Parasite's probably harming in some capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It was just sending off pheromones.
Who knows what its plan was though?
Well, we don't, because we don't know it, I guess. Hopefully Barbara will update us on that in the future.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. We gotta get Barb back in season 2.
That would be fun. I hope that she would be like a recurring character at some point. Either mentioned or hopefully Gillian Jacobs will come back to voice.
Hopefully. Yeah. Every time you say Jet, I keep thinking of the Paul McCartney song.
The way I'm saying it specifically?
No, just
or
like in general now. Like I'm
Okay.
hearing it over and over. I'm just like, Jet! Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Do you think it's, I don't know, is it Jet with one T or two T's?
I think it's one. It's
Okay.
not like Jet Reno
Hmm.
in Discovery.
Who we love.
Oh, yeah. Great character. All right, so we ended with a red alert and a yellow alert. So it's not a very good relationship, everybody. It's I mean, ultimately it's a comedic take. It's played for laughs a lot, but yeah, not great. We'll see if it gets picked up again in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, I highly doubt it, but
Yeah.
But really wasn't meant to be ultimately.
You mentioned that last night when we were watching this, you mentioned something about how this might be your favorite episode of the season. Do you still think that way?
Well, we went through the season once as we were watching it, and it was spread out because we were watching it as they were released. So, it's not like we watched them all at once. So, and it's been a while. This is the only one we rewatched now, so I'd have to probably rewatch. But I remember liking this one a lot. One reason being that, one of my favorite lines from the series is in this, and yeah, the interplay between like Mariner and Boimler, and like I don't know, it seemed like an expansion on like their relationship as well. So I mean, and I really liked that because I like those characters, and yeah, I don't know, and I feel like I don't know, I love when all the characters are interacting together, but it does seem like Lower Decks tends to function really well when like the four main characters are paired off. But
yeah,
maybe that's just me.
That's kind of that seems to how they make their AB plot structure a lot. I'd like to see the characters pair off differently in the future more. They do a little bit. And I would like to see a little more like ensemble. I think they did that at the finale. It was kind of fun to save it for those last couple episodes. So when they did work all together, it was really rewarding. Like that finale might be my favorite episode just because I feel like it culminated everything so well. But that's like an easy answer because it's like it's supposed to be the one most exciting. But otherwise, like I don't know, I think you had a good point though. This episode is a highlight. There's a few others that are like highlight. I like the one where they do the movie version of the Cerritos and the holodeck. That one was really fun. And I mean, they're all a lot. I think the weakest are the first like two maybe because you're still kind of getting to know the characters. But I feel like rewatching it now that you know them, like they wouldn't come off that way anymore. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm with you. It's a standout episode. Yeah.
And this episode is halfway through episode 5 out of 10. So it's a little bit of a turning point. Kind of they'd found their footing.
Oh, yeah.
I also do feel like all the references were really fun. Every episode has references, but I don't know. I just felt like you mentioned, there's a lot of Enterprise references in this one. And honestly, I feel like every show's referenced in this single episode.
Oh, I think so at some point. Yeah.
Every series.
Yeah.
Did I say that? Yeah.
Yeah. Every show, every series. Yeah. Everything. Yeah.
I think that is all we have for you today. Next month, we do have something planned. It will be next month. Maybe we'll just have to.
We'll try really hard.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and anybody who's listening, I mean, I think did you describe the fact that you also have another podcast?
Yeah, we never. So to be honest, we didn't really plug ourselves in that first episode much. We didn't really talk about who we are, and like we did a little bit. We talked about history of Star Trek, but like, yeah. So I mean, for those of you listening to this who have no clue who we are, and like, so like the like 6 other people who are listening to this that we don't know, I don't know. Maybe there's more people, but like I have another podcast. I also co-host Frankenstein's podcast, which is a creature feature podcast. That's it's another one that comes up every other week. We talk about different monsters from movies, shows, books, and stuff. So
by we, you mean you and our friend Khalid.
Our friend Khalid, who will probably guest star on this show someday in the future. So y'all can look forward to that. But other than that, yeah, I have the Frankenstein podcast, so check that out. I also write for Twin Cities Geek, local kind of culture magazine that's online. So check that out. And then and that's sort of my cred, I guess.
Yeah, you're pretty busy then, and you also edit all of Frankenstein's podcast episodes as well. So
and all of Deep Space Love's podcasts.
Yes, but you release Frankenstein's podcast every other week, so we're squeezing this in between that.
Yeah, actually, so Deep Space Love was actually Nicole's idea. This was her brainchild, and it's when she brought it up, I did actually immediately think of this episode for some reason. Like this was
Really?
one that stuck out to me because I was just like, oh, that's a great like romance plot episode. I don't know why that's one that stuck out to me right away. So I'm excited we did this one pretty quick and pretty early.
Yeah. I kind of forgotten about this episode. This was not the episode that sparked. Well, I'm sure we'll go over the episode because it's a pretty good one that sort of inspired my idea for this podcast. I won't say it yet because maybe I'll save that for when we do it. But maybe we should do it sooner rather than later.
Oh, for sure. So you're teasing the audience
I
here.
am.
Yeah.
But it won't be the next one. We already decided on next month's topic.
You're kind of escaping here. I talked myself up. You got to talk yourself up a little bit. You do cool things. You've guest starred on Frankenstein's podcast multiple times. You've guest starred on other podcasts. You are becoming a prominent voice in being a culture critic.
What?
I don't know. I heard that term recently, so I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, a culture critic.
But I don't really put my critiques out there very much.
Yeah. But you're a scientist in real life.
Yes, I am a scientist in real life.
That's cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, that's kind of my main focus, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we should dive into an episode and you can talk about the real science of it sometime.
Mix forensic science and Star Trek romance?
Yeah, I mean, why not? You can mix anything with Star Trek romance.
True. I might have to think about that though.
Yeah.
How I would do that.
Yeah. Well, if anyone can think of a way to do it, it's you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to let them know what we're up to next time?
So next time we're going to be covering we're going to be stepping backwards in the timeline a little bit and go into the next generation. So we'll be specifically looking at the relationship between Captain Picard and Vash, who was guest starred in a few episodes. She was in Captain's Holiday and Cupid, which is one of my secret faves, the Robin Hood episode.
It's not so secret.
Yeah, it's not. Now it's not, but it was kind of one of those ones that I love. That's kind of just a silly, goofy one. And she also appears, but not Captain Picard, appears in the DS9 episode Q-less. So that's going to be a bonus episode. If you want to watch those episodes, check out TNG. Check out that season 1 DS9 episode, and then be ready for our next episode
in
June. Yeah.
Otherwise, you can find us in the meantime on Twitter at DSLovePod. Did I get that right?
Well, hold on. Let me look it up.
I don't even remember our own Twitter handle.
DSLovePod.
I had it right, at DSLovePod.
Yeah. Find us on the socials.
And if you weren't sure how you felt about this podcast after episode 1, but now after this second episode, you're thinking you like what you hear, always feel free to leave a 5-star rating on wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, if you leave us a 5-star rating, a nice review, we'll read it on air.
You'll read it on air.
I'll read it on air. Yeah. And if you're still not sure how you feel about it, just wait until you leave the rating.
Until next time, love long and prosper.